Welcome to another episode of Just Breathe, the podcast by Black moms for Black moms, where we talk about issues that are specific to us Black moms. And today we have a special guest, Tiffany Green, who we're going to talk about the journey into motherhood. I want to read some statistics for you first before we get started. A study in the American Journal of Occupational Therapy highlights how Black moms specifically navigate daily life and identity shifts such as motherhood. They say that Black mothers experience higher rates of perinatal mood disorders, including postpartum depression and anxiety, compared to national averages. They also talked about the factors such as systemic racism, socioeconomic disparities, and limited access to culturally competent care that contribute to these outcomes. So, we're going to spend some time with Tiffany Green, who is a wife and a mom, and we're going to talk to her about her journey into motherhood. Welcome, Tiff.
Hello, thanks for having me. This is a very interesting topic, and I think it's becoming more common for Black women to bring these conversations to the forefront because we're just deemed as superheroes all the time that never run out of fuel. So
That's true.
let's talk about it.
So, first, tell us about yourself.
Well, I am a mom of three. I'm a wife. I'm an educator. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm still a student of life and academia. So yeah, I have a lot on my plate.
I can imagine. So, with three children, talk to us about your experiences transitioning into motherhood with each of your children.
Kid number one, he is the oldest. He's 17. I actually got pregnant with him my sophomore year of college, so that transition was probably more difficult than the last two. So of course I'm a 20-year-old in college, still trying to navigate this thing called life. I'm working a job. I had to, take off school for a while to have him, but I did go back, which was also a thing to learn to navigate. Thank goodness for my support system. But yeah, being a young mom and still trying to further your education and be financially stable, to take care of yourself and a kid is not an easy feat. I don't, I couldn't say whether it would have been easier if someone was down in decaf with me or had I stayed home to be closer and have more in-house support. But I honestly wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything about it. I think me having a kid, finishing school all in the same time, um, built me up as a person, made me a stronger woman, taught me how to multitask, taught me how to
That's for sure.
prioritize. And, it also allowed me to understand what being a mom meant. You're responsible for this person. And here you are, a young adult, watching other young adults live their life. And like, what do I want to embed in my son? What do I want him to know about life? What do I want him to know about education? So it just kind of, most people think it's bad to have a kid at a young age, but I think the opposite in my situation. I think that having him pushed me to grow up a little bit
I
more
can see
than what
that.
I should have, and I think that made me a better person overall because by the time he was maybe early elementary school, I think I got a lot of accolades for, being able to do all these things with this kid
That's good.
with minimal support. So yes, I would say I was a statistic. His dad was a sometime dad. So, for the most part, it was me and him. Me, him, and my friends and my family. So again, just prioritizing. Like I knew what I needed to do and I hit the ball rolling as soon as I got out of college. And I didn't stop there. I went back, I got a master's degree. At some point, I got married and I had two more children. So the age gap is beyond ghetto. There is a 10-year gap between the oldest kid who is now going off to college. And now I'll soon have a second grader and a first grader.
So, what was the biggest difference between the first one, besides being a single young mom, and then the second one being a married mom, and then you had a third one being a married mom back to back? So, talk just a little bit about the difference that you feel was the biggest difference between the three.
it was just so much easier with one. Even though it was just me, man, finding babysitters was good. Like, he's just one kid. He was mild mannered, he was easy to watch. And then you pull another one out, and it's just like, oh, now when we go out of town, it's not paying for one plane ticket. Now we got to buy 5 plane tickets.
Oof.
No,
thank you.
And then it was COVID. So we had that COVID thing going on. I have a COVID baby. It was better as far as me experiencing having a pregnancy. Like, I actually had a baby moon. I didn't even know what that was when I was pregnant with my first kid. My husband took me on a vacation. We went out. We did all these relaxing things because it was close to the time for me to actually have the baby. The preparation was filled with momentum. Like, it was his first kid, so his family was super excited. His mom would come over every weekend to get the baby. Like, it was hard to breastfeed because they were just so excited about this little person. So it was a lot more relief.
Okay.
A lot more relief. Like, I was able to get rest. I didn't have to worry about, oh, I got to stay up. I got to put him to sleep. I got to do my homework. I got class in the morning. I got to drop him off at daycare. Like, a lot of those things that I had to deal with the first pregnancy, I didn't really have to deal with it the second round because I had a husband, I had a mother-in-law who was very hands-on. Like, even after I had the baby, she stayed over for like a month.
Oh, wow.
Just to make sure, like, we were well rested. She helped with laundry. She cooked meals. Like, it was a dramatic difference with having that second kid. Now, a back-to-back bed. And I know older folks always say, well, our kids are step stools or something of the sort because they're right behind each other. And it makes it easier because they get to learn from each other. And, you get to get the hand-me-downs. And, they have somebody to play with. But they do not tell you about the headaches of these kids strangling each other all the time. She's in my room. He's touching my stuff. She's taking this. Get her away. Like, oh my goodness. I love them to pieces. But yeah, I didn't have to experience that with the oldest kid because it was just him.
Yeah, I can see that.
So he didn't have anybody to really fight with. He was able to do what he wanted, when he wanted, without worrying about anybody messing with his stuff. But yeah, and then just the task of 2. It's almost like having twins. They were both still in diapers at the same time. They're literally only 13, maybe about 12 months apart.
Nope.
12 to 13 months apart. So, yeah, the cost of childcare for 2 kids, the cost of diapers and pull-ups for 2 kids, just in the same notion.
No thanks.
Insane. So, some things, yeah, was fine, but others, it's like that nap time is non-existent, because one might be napping now, and the other one is like, nope, it's still party time. I got 2 more hours left before I'm ready to call it one. And we're like, no, come on, let's try to get you on the same schedule. And you can't revert the one who came before. Grayson is the middle kid. He already had a schedule. Then you have the other baby come along now, and this baby is on a whole new schedule because she just got here. So, yeah, just trying to find the balance.
No.
Not even including work and the, at the time, Deshaun was still in sports. So, being a sports mom and a working mom and having 2 toddlers at the same time.
God bless your ministry. There's no way. And see, I had the opposite experience. I think it was easier for me to have my daughter as a single mom. Same similar story. Dad wasn't sugar honey iced tea. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. And I was able to do what I needed to do for her without anybody saying anything besides grandma. Grandma had a whole lot to say. But I was able to get her on the schedule. I was able to make all the decisions. I was able to do what I felt was the right thing to do, versus when I got married, then I had another person I had to be like, what you think? And I was like, wait,
I'm not used to that.
Oh, this is our baby. Oh, okay. So that was like a little difficult for me. And I was like, well, I did it with the first one. I know how this goes.
Right. And then we have that consciousness in our mind. Like, well, we know because we already had a kid. Like, you're new to the game. So, let me lead.
Listen, that was a whole lot of arguments in our house, baby. It was way too many arguments about olive oil being put in my son's hair or not being put in his hair. When I tell you it was way too many conversations about olive oil in our house, I was just like, what are we doing? Like, what do you mean? And then just buying all the equipment that I was like, we don't need this. We don't need all this
That's
equipment.
that first time dad.
But as a first time dad, he wanted all the toys, and I was like, we don't need this stuff. Like, what are we? And who's gonna clean this, or who's gonna keep it? So yeah, my second one, I was like, wait, I gotta share. I have to like talk to you about what we're doing. Oh, okay, all right.
Different ball game.
Listen, a whole different ball game.
Ball game.
Which brings us to the next question. So, what were some of your emotional challenges that you faced during your early days of motherhood, and then how did you handle them?
So, I don't think that motherhood initially was really that draining with just like the one kid. Again, I was young, probably felt invincible. I could do it, I got it.
Indeed.
My biggest stress with that was like making sure I didn't deter from my goals. Like, yeah, I'm a mom, but like the one thing I was super passionate about was finishing school. I was the first to go. I've always held education at like the top of my list of priorities, and I didn't want it to be like, oh, she had a baby, she didn't do what she wanted to do because she had this baby. So it was stressing that matter, but like being overwhelmed with motherhood, yeah, give or take here and there, depending on what was going on. But I think it was way more stressful the second time, even with the support. Like,
really,
there was even a day where I literally went in the closet. Like, I had to call my best friend, Mercedes. And I was just like, gee, I can't, like, I don't understand. I do everything. Like, I wasn't working. So I was a stay-at-home mom with the last two kids for almost 2 years, I want to say.
Wow.
And just really understanding what that meant to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, my mom was a stay-at-home mom when I was a kid. And I just thought she had it made. Like, you didn't have to work.
Fun?
Yeah, like, you didn't have to work. You was at home all the time. My daddy worked. He paid the bills. Like, you good. And that is not what that was. It did not feel good at all. And everybody's like, oh, you're so lucky. Like, your husband's taking care of everything. You're married. You got a good man. And you're just at home being a mom with your kids. No, I'm tired.
And I'm going crazy.
I need a break. These kids don't go nowhere. He come home from work, he tired, he getting in the bed, and I'm like, your turn. Let's tap in, right? Like, no. And people just have this false assumption that you're okay, that you don't have other stuff to do. And, I wasn't working, but I changed careers. I went back to school to become an educator. So I still have homework to do. And I was a breastfeeding mom. So anyone who is familiar with that knows that's a job in itself. You're pumping all day, every day, in every moment.
Yep.
Even, as a substitute, I would have the attachments on driving to the school I was about to work at. Really being an advocate, like, hey, I need my 15-minute break. Not my lunch, but I need my additional break to go pump my milk. But yeah, like making sure laundry is done. If you have 2 kids and you have to keep washing all these throw up clothes, these milk clothes, just everything is dirty. You always have to do laundry. You still have the oldest kid and his dirty football stuff. You got to clean all of that. Yep. He has to get to and from practice. I got to tug these babies with me, like grocery shopping, putting the food away, cooking a meal, cooking their meals. Everybody has a separate meal. Like, yeah, because Grayson has like 8 food allergies. So it just got to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And when you try to express how overwhelmed you are, then you're kind of looked at as like ungrateful, or, well, you're at home all day, like, but I don't get to sleep. Like, I'm here,
you're not just at home chilling.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
When they sleep, that's when I clean. And when they wake up, now they get the mess up. Now I have to work now because they have to eat, and you got to play with them, and you have to teach them stuff. And there's literally no downtime. And I just literally broke down and went in the closet and cried. And I called my friend, and she was like, go get a hotel room and tell them you'll be back in 24 hours.
That's real.
And that's exactly what I did.
That's a friend.
I got a hotel room, and my husband was all like, well, when I get tired, I just go in the back and sit in the car. Well, that might work for you. I'm going downtown. I'm going to get a room, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
And how did that feel?
It felt amazing. I got a bottle of wine, and I took my laptop, and she was like, you're going there to get rest and to reset. You're not going down there to get no work done. And I took my laptop anyway. I ain't gonna lie, I took it. But I did not do any work. I didn't even open it. I ordered me like a small pizza. I had my wine. I watched TV until I got sleepy, and I fell asleep. And that was like the best thing ever. Just one day of being away from kids, husband, responsibilities, and all of that.
That's real.
But I had never heard that before up until she said that to me.
Yes,
like,
giving yourself permission to take that space. I think that's something that for a lot of moms is very difficult. It's about giving yourself permission to take what you need.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a question. It's not a question mark of asking like, what can I, do this thing? It's a matter of saying like, I'm going to do this thing. It is best for me. And if you're not okay with me doing this thing, that's unfortunate.
And it's hard though, because then you have that guilty feeling like, oh,
Yeah.
now you're looked at as this bad mom
guilt.
because you want to go have some me time. Well, what about the kids? Well, what about me? Like,
Yes.
What about them? They all right.
Yes, that is the best advice I think that an older mom gave me, was that because I'm 48 and I was in my 30s, and she said, you cannot leave yourself off the table. She was like, a lot of times we put our kids on the table, our husbands on the table, our careers on the table, our friends on the table. I want to help. I want to volunteer. I want to do this. I want to do that. And she's like, you look at the table and you're missing. So she was telling me the one thing that you cannot do is leave yourself off the table. And she said the second thing that you cannot do is that your kids grow up seeing you only serve them. And I said,
that's a word.
I said, now wait a minute. What does that mean? That I'm not a good mom because I'm, making lunches and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm, doing all this thing for my kids. And she was like, no, because that's all your kids are going to see. So any chance I get, if I want to start a business, I start a business, and I make sure my kids know why I'm starting that business. They understand they're a part of it. It's not a secret. It's not like mom goes off in the Batcave and she comes out and she's Batman. Like, no, it's like, hey, no, this is a dream that I've always had, and I'm going to chase this dream. And my kids are there to support me because I can't remember being a kid and seeing my mom have friends. I don't remember seeing her go anywhere. I remember my mom graduating from college she never finished school. And I remember her graduating from college, but like, that was it. Like, you don't have no other dreams, player? Like, nothing? Just getting up, going to work and taking care of us? Like, that's it? I don't remember seeing my mom do anything. So I don't remember her going out with her girlfriends or being like, it's girls' night. Like, I'm going, out with my friends. Like, none of that existed when I was growing up. So I wanted my kids to grow up knowing that mommy has friends. Mommy's going to take time away. And when mommy is out with her friends, don't call me. Because your dad is in the house. Figure it out. Or if nothing is on fire, figure it out, y'all.
Yeah, that's like non-existent. Dad could be sitting right next to mom and it's still, Ma, can I?
No.
I have a laptop on my lap. I have a book here, a notebook there, a pen in my hand. He's just sitting there scrolling through his phone. Ma, I'm hungry. Can you? And he's just sitting there like, they asked you?
No. And my answer is like, your dad is right there.
Like, I don't understand it. Or you're in a completely different room and dad is right there.
They come find you.
They walk clean past dad. Ma. And then here he goes, I'm right here. I didn't tell him to walk past. Like, y'all scared to ask him something. Like,
but stop it. Like, go get him, right?
Right. Like, you see him coming.
Stop them. What do you need? What do you want?
That's all.
It's that part. So how important with that is like a support system? Like, what would you say to young moms or new moms or heck, old moms, adoptive moms, just moms, period, that the importance of a support system? Like, what would you say about that? Whether it be family or friends or...
It is extremely important. And it's stressful. Like, you need a support system just like you need lungs, you need air, you need a heart. But it comes with baggage, right?
Facts.
There's a group of women in college from a sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, which I'm a part of now.
Little shout out.
Yes, Z-Phi. But
Lord.
Those young women on a college campus took the time out to support me. And I wasn't even a part of the sisterhood at the time, but they knew I was trying to graduate. They knew that I had a kid. They weren't judgmental. Oh, you got finals? Drop them off. I had to take a summer class. I don't have a place to stay. I don't have no money to stay in Northern View for a whole nother semester. Cool. You can stay here and sleep on the couch with your baby. Like,
I love that.
So strangers turn into family great support system away from home. I come home, I have my friends from high school. Hey, I gotta go to work. Can you watch him until I get this childcare stuff situated? So to be able to have people that aren't even family just step in and take that load off you without you having to worry about somebody hurting your baby or being malicious.
That part.
Yeah, like because you worry. You don't want anybody watching your kid, and it's my only kid. Like, hey, Nat, it's precious cargo here. But then you fast forward me having a support system as a wife. Yeah. Amazing, absolutely love it. But then you have to learn how to set the boundaries because I'm mom and this is what I want for my family and for my kids, and to own that. Like, yes, I appreciate you. I thank you for helping out, but you had your turn with your kids and these are mine. And this is the foundation that I'm trying to lay. So like you absolutely need the support system, but like be straightforward, know what you want and stand on what you want so that everybody is on the same page. And not to say that, older folks don't have good advice because they do. But everything that they say isn't golden. Things change, times change, and sometimes we have to roll with some of those changes.
That's real.
But yeah, support system is an absolute must, and be okay with your support system doing things that you would do. Yeah. You can't just say, oh, watch my kid, but then say, hey, you can't discipline my kid. No, if they doing something they don't have no business doing, treat them like they your kid. Like that's what you're there for. You're auntie or uncle now. Yeah. Play your role. Yeah. Y'all could be friends, but there are things you can and can't do as a kid. And stand kind of firm on that because I think that's a lost thing in the village, in the new generations. There's no real village.
The village is missing.
It's very missing.
The village is missing.
Yeah, my kids have to have a village. Like I had a village. Yes. Miss Rose was allowed to hit if we was out there doing something, and we knew not to do nothing because she knew everybody's phone number.
That's real. We couldn't go outside the front door because the neighbors knew if we was out there clowning, they had permission to yoke us up. And they was watching. Talking about, hey, where you going? And mind your business. Like, I'm trying to sneak. Don't you recognize sneaking?
Now you got somebody looking at Miss Rose's window like, what's she doing?
That's what I'm saying. You couldn't sneak. You couldn't do anything. I know that my daughter has a whole village of aunts and uncles that can come pick her up, that can check her, that can check on her, that support her. I remember her getting her tonsils out, and we had 22 people in the waiting room. And the doctor came out and was like, why is there so many people out here? And I said, oh, this is her village. He was like, no pressure. No pressure.
She better come out the way she went in, sir.
I was like, sir, all the pressure, okay? Okay? The only thing that should be happening is those tonsils out. That's it. That's it. So when he came out to tell us that everything was good, it was like wild applause. He was like, whoo, shoo. Like, I made it through. Yes, sir, because your life was on the line. I need you to understand that
it was going to be a problem.
Do you hear me? So I really think that this whole transition into motherhood, like having the village, everything that you said, having a support system, having the village, being able to accept the advice of your village and picking the right village is key to being able to make it, as a mom. And I know that if I could offer any advice to mothers, like just young mothers or new moms, adoptive moms, whoever it is like just to be kind to yourself. Like, I think that we are so hard on ourselves already as Black women, because we want this, just like you, and like, I gotta be successful. I gotta finish school. Nobody was putting that pressure on you but you. Yeah. But I think the more that we put pressure on ourselves to have this cookie cutter example of what it meant to be a mom, it's like we stress ourselves out. And we're like killing ourselves. I remember trying to buy the lunch notes and like cut their little sandwiches into stars and all of this stuff. And I was killing myself. I was like, what am I doing? Because one, they don't care. This lunch is going in the garbage. Like, they don't care.
Speaking from a kindergarten teacher, yes, they do not eat. Lunchtime is chat time. They're going to eat a portion of that, typically the sweet stuff. Everything else goes in the trash because now lunch is over.
And your star sandwich then went in the trash. Like, what difference does it make?
Lunch is over.
So I think just being kind to ourselves, like just to be.
It's tough as well. Society, like the demands that society put on you as a woman, like it's just hard to get through barriers and to accomplish things or get things done that you you're almost born with this mindset of, I gotta get it.
Yeah.
I have to go for it. Nobody's going to give it to me. And even if I'm qualified for it, I still have to work twice as hard to try to push through with it just because I'm a woman. And then you add being a black woman on top of that, that makes it 10 times more difficult because now it's like, oh, how dare you be educated? How dare you aspire to do this, and now you have to yet again prove more points, although your accolades speak for themselves. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult. So if you could talk to your younger self, if you could give your younger self just one word of advice or just a sentence of advice, what would you say to young 20-year-old Tiffany who had a brand new baby? What would you say to her? Just what would you say to her?
It's actually a phrase that our high school Spanish teacher used to say to us all the time, quite often, daily, several times a day. Relax, relate, and release. Relax, relate, and release. Things are going to be tough. It's fine, but it's life. You still have to get through it. So relax. It's something you need to figure out. Find a way to relate to it so that you can come up with a less stressful way of getting through it. Relate to it. Then release. Like, let it go. You win some, you lose some. But if you spend the rest of your life just dwelling on that, you'll never get past anything. So relax, relate, and release would be my advice. I know that was more than one word, but
it's all right. And with that, I definitely thank you for coming to talk to us today about just that transitioning into motherhood. I definitely appreciate it and the words of advice that you gave to everybody and for just sharing your story because 3 kids is a whole lot. Okay, God bless your ministry. Y'all playing zone defense at the house and I don't have the capacity for it. 1-to-1 is all I have. So thank you, God, for my 2. So thank y'all and hope y'all join us for the next episode.